Well, the idea to make an exhibition about Stanley Kubrick started in 2003 on the occasion of another special exhibition that was held at the German Film Museum in Frankfurt. It was an exhibition about the legendary set designer Ken Adam, who was working closely with Stanley Kubrick on two of Kubrick's films that were Dr. Strangelove and Barry Lyndon. And on the occasion of this exhibition, Christiane Kubrick and Jan Harlan visited the German Film Museum in Frankfurt, and my colleague Hans-Peter Reichmann brought up the question whether it would be possible to go to Stanley Kubrick's working space close to London and take a look of all the materials that has been left behind after Stanley Kubrick passed away. Well, it was a process, like from the first idea until the final exhibition, it was a process that took about, say, 15 months. And the process of going through Kubrick's personal working archive took about 8 months. So you must imagine the German Film Museum sent an archivist from Frankfurt to St. Albans, and this colleague of mine, whose name is Bernd Eichhorn, he lived very close to the family, and he was going each day to Stanley Kubrick's production offices and bringing materials in a chronological order, like relating all documents, letters, photographies, screenplays, props to the projects that Kubrick had been working on during his career, and systematically indexing them and putting them in a large database. So, and we in Frankfurt received updates, like the information he put together in St. Albans were sent to us, and we were starting the curatorial process in Frankfurt. Well, all in all, it is kind of the same collection that is traveling. So in terms of exhibits, there are no major changes, there are smaller changes. We have been able to add few items during the tour of this exhibition. So I think the major difference is really the layout and the galleries of the venues. So they are sometimes more broad and open, big museum spaces that we, for instance, have here at MARCO, beautiful large galleries, very classy, very elegant. At other venues we had smaller, more condensed presentations, like more cabinet-like, you can say, installations. So we also can find, looking back through the tour history, that some venues have put certain emphasis on particular aspects. For instance, the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, which is one of the top, most renowned art museums in the world. They wanted to also show some of the art objects they have in their collections and relate it to Stanley Kubrick's works. Another example would be a presentation in Amsterdam at a brand new film museum in Amsterdam, where they put a strong emphasis on the moving images. So we had huge projections there. And here at MARCO, I think it is a very comprehensive presentation. All objects are, mostly all objects are on display here. And we have this gorgeous large rooms. So it's a really beautiful presentation that you have here at MARCO. Well, they can find here complete introduction into Stanley Kubrick's whole career, from his first days as a young staff photographer for the American Look magazine, for which he traveled throughout the United States and also made travels to Europe in order to make photo reportages about daily life at that time, because it was the times before television, and this magazines like Look and Life brought to a broad audience subjects of all kinds. So we start here, and then we go through his early days as a filmmaker, independent filmmaker, then becoming filmmaker appointed by large major Hollywood studios. We have the early black and white movies. We come to 2001, and then to his also very famous last movies. And we find an interplay of objects, like personal objects on which Kubrick had meticulously worked, like the screenplays. He had been rewriting, rethinking, reconceiving. We find letters with his actors, to whom he had a very special and very close relationship. Most of them praise him as a really great filmmaker and person that took the time to work closely with them and bring out the best of acting from them. We find props from the films. I mentioned the Star Child baby, I mentioned the helmet worn by Private Joker in Full Metal Jacket. We have very, very beautiful props coming from The Shining, like the typewriter on which Jack Nicholson wrote his manuscript of Madness. We have the axes, the knife. We have a lot of costumes. 13 costumes are on display, from Spartacus through Barry Lyndon, through Shining, Full Metal Jacket. We have the masks coming from Eyes Wide Shut. And we have areas dealing with unfinished projects, like I mentioned Napoleon. Another project would be Aryan Papers. A third project that was in first instant conceived by Stanley Kubrick and later realized by Steven Spielberg is artificial intelligence. So we have a beautiful series of production designs. So it is an interplay of elements that allow the visitors to really get deep insight into, well, the mind of a visionary filmmaker. Yeah, we are very grateful to have the Stanley Kubrick exhibition now at MARCO in Monterrey for the next 4 months and 2 weeks, I think. We would be very pleased to see that a lot of visitors from Monterrey, surrounding areas, from throughout Mexico travel to MARCO. It's such a lovely museum and they did such a marvelous job installing Stanley Kubrick, and we all hope that MARCO will have a very successful season with Stanley Kubrick.